Hi, it's your host Marissa here, and I've got something very special for you. Sweet Valley Diaries Extra Drama. Here's the deal. Every other week between book recaps, we're going to have a bonus episode just like the one you're listening to right now. Along with my guests, I'll dish the dirt on B stories, backstories, listener stories, personal stories, and any other gossip that comes up along the way. So, without further ado, let's continue our discussion of Book 1, Double Love, with my guests, Kat and Selah. So there's one really big element of this book that we haven't discussed that we gotta talk about, because it's a major B story, not the Stephen and Trisha B story, not the Enid and Ronnie B story, which we also haven't really gotten to, but there's not much to it. Except that we know that, like, Enid has some sort of a secret, it seems, because she's, like, super worried about the fact that Ronnie Edwards, her crush, doesn't think that anybody can, like, ever change, and that it's okay for people to have bad shit in their past.
No second chance.
And that he wouldn't forgive Elizabeth.
Yeah, so Enid is troubled by that.
Yeah.
But that's about all we know.
Right.
And then something that factors heavily as a sort of B-plot in this book, which is the Fowlers and the Patmans, the two richest families in Sweet Valley.
Right.
Who are warring over the football field.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about this. The football field is owned by the city of Sweet Valley. The lease is up, and Sweet Valley the high school forgot to renew the lease.
Who dropped the ball on that one?
Clearly, this is a school where football is very important. Like, sports of all kind are the most important thing.
Yeah.
So the very idea of it is ridiculous. But then, how, like, sick do these two families have to be to be like, football field? Fuck that.
Yeah.
So the Fowlers, who are the new money family, want to build a big factory on the lot, I guess, or small factory, because I don't think a football field is big enough for a big factory.
Well, how tall are we talking?
Oh, sure. It could be like one of those skyscraper factories.
Yeah.
And then the Patmans, the old money family, want to build an old-timey garden, which frankly sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's like it's an English garden.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I was on their team, for sure.
But the idea of, like, screw your football team, you guys don't need a football field, is kind of sad.
Right.
It's like, I have all this money, but instead of doing something good with it, I'm going to use it to buy the land and do my own thing with it because I can. Money, power, corruption. Yeah. These are perennial themes that we can still relate to in
I mean, I feel like those two old families, like, half the TV shows that have ever aired are about, like, two feuding families. And they both want the same thing, but they can't compromise. And it was just, like, one of the million plots going on in this book.
Right.
And then there's the other story, which is about Ned Wakefield, the lawyer.
Yep.
And Mariana West, his assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So they are defending this lawsuit, this Fowler-Patman lawsuit, and Elizabeth gets assigned to cover the story. The whole school is very invested in the idea that they can keep their football field, understandably. And so she's writing very detailed about it, and she's goes to the trial, but Ned Wakefield, this is his case. And he and his assistant, Mariana West, recent divorcee, have been spending a lot of time together working
Very
on this case.
Attractive
divorcee.
Yeah.
Her age, I don't think, is mentioned.
I got the feeling she was younger, but I could have just been projecting.
So, basically, there is not a single time that this poor woman is mentioned in this book. That it's not in the context of, like, she's been spending a lot of time with Dad. Dad is having an affair with her.
Yeah.
She's a homewrecker from the beginning, and the only evidence that they have is that they keep on seeing them together. Right. Now, there's a point at some point where Bruce Patman, like, tries to throw that in their face. Like, he says,
like, that was some nasty shit.
Yeah, he pulls up a lot of stuff. Like, that was rude.
So they're fighting. Like, basically, the kids at the school in this one scene are calling out Lila and Bruce for their parents' decisions. Yeah. And Lila and Bruce are, like, defending their parents because they both love mommy and daddy a lot.
Of course.
And
I mean, Bruce drives a Porsche.
So Bruce says about Ned Wakefield, your father spends all his time running around with a sexy woman, and you call that working for the firm? So she's like... Yeah, Mariana West is not a lawyer or, like, a lawyer's assistant. She's a sexy woman.
Yeah.
But that's one thing coming from Bruce Patman. It's another thing coming from, like, all of his children.
Yeah, it's just, like, amazing how immediately they jump to the fact that he's having an affair.
Mm-hmm. At one point, Stephen follows their dad, thinking that he's following him home and, like, it'll be fun. It's a weird scene, but he basically tails his dad in Mariana car, sees the dad go into Mariana West's house, and that is, like, proof positive that they are having an affair.
Right.
When Elizabeth, who normally is a very level-headed person, notices that Mariana West is doing a lot of the arguing during the trial against the Fowlers and Patmans.
Right.
Instead of, like, she acknowledges that Mariana's doing a good job, but she does it in a way where she says...
She didn't even let my dad speak.
She's so mad.
Because you're screwing your boss.
She's not acting like an assistant.
Yeah.
Like, that pushy woman.
Yeah.
And then she's like, she seemed to know everything about the matter, all right. Her father must have told her every detail.
Like, no shit. She's a lawyer. She's in court. She better know everything.
Yeah, also, that's just setting the feminist movement back, like
the misogyny
5
of
paces.
This. The misogyny of this is unbearable. The very idea.
And the fact that it's coming from Elizabeth.
It's coming from Elizabeth, and they're all like, first of all, the lack of trust in their father is really upsetting.
Yeah.
Ned Wakefield has never done anything to deserve this.
Oh.
But
we hardly know anything about him.
Like, you get the feeling this family is, like, at least pretty close. Like, wouldn't you... Like, at any point, do these 3 kids consider asking their father, like, straight up what's going on?
They're close and they're happy, and it regularly establishes that Ned and Alice Wakefield have a happy marriage.
Yeah.
So if they have even, like, the hint of maybe having an argument, that's proof positive again that Dad's definitely having an affair and Mom knows about it. But the bigger issue beyond that, I think, is this idea that this woman, Mariana, could not be anything more than, like, a colleague to the dad. Like, if the dad is working with the woman, then they must be sleeping together.
Right.
It's just so... makes your blood boil.
Yeah. I mean, in the very beginning, when they first start talking about this thing, and they're like, oh my god, Miss West, you mean... Like, Dad called her Mariana this morning. Like, heaven forbid you call someone by their first name.
Yes.
But then my favorite part in the whole book... Well, I don't know, Liz. She sounded pretty seductive on the phone. Jessica, really? Sometimes I think you're wacko. Okay. Don't get so shook, Liz.
I didn't realize shook was a thing to say in the 80s.
I didn't either.
It makes Jessica seem way cooler than we thought she was.
Yeah.
Way ahead of
Well,
time.
so then the end of that storyline is that their parents tell them that they're having this dinner, and Mariana West is going to be there, and he's going to be making this huge announcement. And the kids immediately jump to the fact that, like, oh my god, they're going to announce they're getting a divorce.
Even though the mom is, like, super stoked on this idea.
Yeah, exactly.
They're beside themselves. The kids are like, I
also,
don't want to go to this dinner. It's going to be the worst night of my life.
Yeah, and it's also like, if you're going to announce your divorce, you're not going to bring the other woman to the dinner.
Stephen is like, I invited Trisha Martin over, and I can't reach her to uninvite her. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Days before cell phones. God, what did he do?
Yeah, right.
It's like the shortest lived suspense ever, though, because it's like a sentence later. It's like, it turns out Mariana West is a partner in the law firm.
Yeah, oh my god, that all happened so fast.
But the crazy thing to me is that if they were so sure that they were having an affair, why is this, like, the proof that they're not having an affair?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I see, now you were working such long nights to help make her a partner.
I know, that was really weird to me. I was like, what? Like, because he's not the boss, he's not attractive anymore, so, like, immediately it's not an affair, they're just coworkers.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that explains why she was so knowledgeable in the trial, because she's not just an assistant,
right.
she's a partner now.
Yeah. She can't just know her stuff.
As a good assistant, you're totally supposed to know everything your boss knows.
Yes.
Because when they forget it or need help, you're supposed to be there.
Right.
Especially as a lawyer.
Yeah.
So why is that, like, oh my god, she's doing her job?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, that's all she wrote for this first ever episode of Extra Drama. Tune in next week when I'll be joined by a new friend to discuss book number 2, Secrets.
Is it going to weird you guys out to hear your voices back? If I play it back?
It always does. I also get weirded out seeing myself on camera. Mm-hmm. It's like my worst nightmare.
Well, the camera adds 10 pounds, but the microphone doesn't add anything.
Yeah, but my voice sounds weird.